Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. Want to go over the Philadelphia Eagles, some updates on eligibility for some of the injuries that we do have. So I want to go over all of that. And Nick had a lot to say about changing the special teams, which was pretty embarrassing versus Green Bay. Probably the worst game we had on special teams in that pretty much the whole entire year from how many yards they gave up on those kickoffs. Okay, so let's get straight into the news.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? So the injuries that we do have to go over are very important. I think the one that we're all kind of worried about right now is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He did put up a post on Instagram and Twitter saying he will be back, that this will not hold him back at all. So is this as serious as it is? I really don't know. But at the same time, you got to worry about it because, you got to see what you have behind that. And you have Reed Blankenship that got into the game, made, 3-4 tackles. He had 5-6 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and a pick for the game. Played fantastic just going in there and doing his thing and, doing really good. So, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a big loss. You lose that energy to your defense. Not the whole entire defense. He's not the only guy that brings energy, but definitely you trade for this guy and wants to get paid as a safety. Well, all the rumors swirling around him that he's going to be the first one in line for an extension, and I think you have to re-sign him. And I'm glad that the rumors are hopefully true, or hopefully he will be the first one to get extended. But losing him, yeah, it's gonna suck because even with the single high safety coverage, I don't trust Marcus Epps on coverage. I don't trust Reed Blankenship. He gave up a big pass as well in the game, so for a big chunk yard. So you want to get this guy as back as you fast as possible. I don't know what his eligibility is going to be. He's the only one. Now, Nick did say at the press conference that he's got no report on anything yet. He's not going to dive into it or say anything the wrong way if the reports are wrong. But he's got to go through more tests and says that he's not ready to give a diagnosis on the rib injury. So hopefully it's not that bad. Hopefully it's just bruised. I mean, I know players that play on broken ribs. I mean, quarterbacks play on broken ribs, for God's sakes. I mean, the only issue with that is, how much is he really going to lay the thump on somebody when you have broken ribs? You're going to have to protect yourself while making these tackles. He's not going to be 100%. So if you give it 3 to 4 weeks for him to come back, can the Eagles survive on that? Obviously, it depends on Jonathan Gannon, how he uses his defense, which I don't like his philosophy at all, and I've hated it since last year. They could do a lot with this defense. They have to generate more pressure. If you're back end, and trust me, what Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has done with this defense leads the league in picks. And at this point, it is going to be a very big building piece for us for the future, for another 3 to 4 years, if that's the case. And, you got to keep this guy in the building. It's unfortunate. We don't know what it is. If it was bad, I think we would have known. Like, if it was really, really bad, or like, they took x-rays in the locker room, so they somewhat know what's going on. They're not putting out the report yet. So if he was like going to be out for the season, we would have gotten it's really bad. The news is really bad. The doctors, they definitely took x-rays at the NovaCare. There's no way they didn't take x-rays. They got the equipment there. So they know something. They're just not putting anything out on it yet. And I figured if he's out for the season, Nick would have been like, yeah, it looks really bad. Don't know, but it just looks really bad. Then I can understand that type of news. But saying that he has to go through more tests, maybe it's not that bad. And when it sounds like it's really not that bad, but I could be wrong. It might just be it might just be a whole different thing. So who knows on that? But definitely a big loss. Reed's got to step up. Kavon Wallace definitely stepped up in the last game with that deflection. The end zone would have been caught for a touchdown. But can I rely on him every single time? I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see that going down the road with that injury. Now, Avonte Maddox has been out with this ankle injury for a while. Already lost him once for a couple games. Now we're losing him for a few games as it is already. And Hosea Scott is really hurting us at that nickel. I just can't stand it. Giving up touchdowns. It's just not a great backup corner that we have right now. Serviceable, I guess. He had a pick last week on a deflection, or yesterday on a deflection from Big Play Slay. But other than that, that's really it. He's just a you're just sticking him in that defense, and that's really it. You know what I mean? So Avonte Maddox's ankle must be that bad. He's been out for this long. He is eligible to come back, though. He will be eligible after this week. So after the Titans game going to the Giants week, he will be available to come back, and we sorely need him. Well, guys, we might be getting lucky here. We might be getting everybody back before, obviously, the end of the season, definitely. Even if Chauncey news is good, which it sounds like it's not that bad. Hopefully. So you can get Chauncey back. Avonte Maddox be back in your secondary, which is huge. Eagles are getting killed on those slants. And I understand Gannon's got these cornerbacks moved back 8 yards, but that doesn't help the situation either. But at the same time, definitely you need that speed with him middle of the field. And it's sorely missed right now, and really need him back. So a couple weeks from now, he's eligible to come back, but will he be ready in 100%? We will find out. Dallas Goedert, obviously another one, and obviously because of the Washington game, a lot of issues with that game, and I still have an issue with it till this day of that penalty not being called. But I will never get over that because I think I'm more pissed about this injury because of the way it went down and because he got hurt out of that situation. You know what I mean? We didn't win that game out of that situation, which really sucks. But it looks like Dallas Goedert will be eligible to return for the Bears in a few weeks. So you're still going to have another 3. You're going to have, what, 4.5 weeks, something like that, until Goedert comes back, most likely. Sorely missed. But at the same time, I think they're compensating for that injury right now because they're passing the ball to Miles Sanders. They're getting the running backs more in the passing game, which I really do like. And I think they're doing a little bit more with them because Dallas Goedert is out, because I have no use for Jack Stoll, Calcaterra, or Tyree Jackson. Calcaterra and Tyree Jackson are just big projects right now. We don't know what they have yet. They're just too raw right now. They just don't have enough playing time. And that's just, Calcaterra caught one ball that was like -2 yards, caught up behind the line, got tackled when Hurts was getting chased all over the place. And Jack Stoll, I don't know. I think he's only useful here to be a blocker and be that number 2 and kind of feed off of Goedert in the lineup and get those 1 to 2 catches a game, every other game, something like that. So I guess that makes more sense. And Tyree Jackson's coming off an ACL. What am I supposed to expect from him? Going to his second year playing tight end this year, and didn't have off season, didn't have any preseason, didn't have OTAs, training camp, any of that. It's a big weakness right now until Dallas Goedert comes back. Dallas Goedert was the big safety blanket. Would have been going to the Pro Bowl. Going to miss a lot of time now. So we'll see. We'll have Dallas Goedert before we get into the playoffs, which is good. So we're getting players back here and there, which is a really, really good thing. And lastly, I want to talk about the special teams. I'm not going to read all this. You guys could read it as I'm talking or on your own time, whatever you want. But Nick was questioned about the special teams. I mean, you gave up, 3 to 4, 40 to 50-yard kickoffs. I mean, just crazy how bad the blocking scheme is. And as much as we hate our returners, because I'm not a fan of Boston Scott on kick return, and I'm not a fan of Britton Covey on punt return, and they're still giving the guy a chance. You got Devin Allen still on the practice squad. You don't give another guy a chance. Somebody. So he said that he's not going to tell them what they're doing. I mean, so Nick's not going to say what the game plan is for special teams. But now teams know the Eagles are very weak at special teams, and that blueprint is already made. And that's why the Packers were taking it deep in their end zone, because they knew they were going to get yards at us, and they did 3 times. We literally gave good field position 2 times to Aaron Rodgers in that game between the 40 and 50-yard line, which really sucks. Can't be doing that. Can't do that in the playoffs either, because he's going to hurt yourself. And they're going to get points on the board easily within a play or 2. That's it. I mean, they're already on the other side of the field if you already have them at midfield already. I don't know what he's going to do, but hopefully some changes are made to the blocking schemes, or they have to switch some players around when they're going down for kickoff or punt or something. I don't know if they're going to change the return game. I hope Covey's moved. That's a good start. If you could at least do that, I would, make more sense to take him out. He's just too raw right now. Give him another offseason, see how he does next year. Maybe he'll get better next year. He's had enough chances. Okay, as much as he was one of my favorite undrafted wide receivers, or at least from the undrafted class from this past year, he's one of my favorites. And I thought he would have done really well, but I was wrong. See, I'm not always right. I'm not always right about everything. So I was really rooting for the kids since the beginning of the season, and just didn't work out. Even Darren Sproles is asking to come back. He's like, if they call me for they want a playoff run for me at punt return, I got you. I'll be in there. So maybe that will be a move. You never know at this point. But changes are being made to special teams from what it sounds like. After that Washington loss, we didn't have Jordan Davis, and we were getting, they were, running the ball 40, 48, 49 times on us. They brought in 2 vets in Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. So who knows at this point? They could bring back Darren Sproles or maybe get Devin Allen a chance, something. I don't know if it's just the specialist, the return specialist, that's, that he's worried about, or is it, on both sides where it's producing on special teams, but got to go down and make the tackle and stay in your lane. He even said that some of the guys got out of their lane, and that stuff happens, and that's not good. You gotta. They're not coached hard enough, special teams wise. It looks like they're coached real soft to me. So that's the whole thing with the special teams with Nick Sirianni. So changes are going to be made, and I'll let you know about it when those changes are made, when it happens. And then lastly, we already talked about Jordan Davis on the video I made last time. Jordan Davis will be eligible to play next week. So all these players are eligible to be back certain weeks. But will they be ready to play health-wise? Okay, that just depends on their injury, how bad it is, how much it takes to heal. Not really rehabbing, depending on what it is, but it's just they got to get back to their normal self as well. Can't just throw them out. Don't throw them on the field when they're 80%, 75% healthy and just going to re-injure themselves again. It makes absolutely no sense to do that. So that is my report on eligibility for all these injuries, when these players can come back. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, it's a shame, but it does not sound like he's going to be out the whole year. It doesn't. So if I'm wrong, damn, that sucks. But if I'm right, good. We'll have a lot of guys coming back. But the main thing right now is for us to stay healthy the rest of the season. We cannot afford more injuries and more. And look, it's not a lot of injuries, and we're still winning. You know what I mean? So I get it. You can tell, man, you lose a player, this team doesn't back down. Like, they're a very resilient group, okay? Very resilient team. So, give it some time, see what happens. We'll probably find out the coming days for Chauncey and maybe some of the other guys. We'll see. Jordan Davis is up next to see if he will play next week, because that interior is going to look real nasty going to next week, which you're really going to need it for Derrick Henry. And that's it. So let me know what you guys think about the eligibility, about the special teams. What would you change about the special teams? Obviously, firing Michael Clay would probably be a start. But, we'll see what happens. But, all right, guys, you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. SHAKESQUAD up, follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.